Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KeithAndrewNetWork. It is episode 777. Today we have professional actress Julie Crisante, and let's get started.
It's been a long time coming. Look what we done to ourselves.
So the first question I would like to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you came to do what you do.
Well, you know what? I've just always was fascinated with movies since a very young age. Like most people, you get very captivated by good storytelling, and that was me. And then probably maybe a little bit more so than some. I remember like when I really got into a story, I don't know if you recall, there was a movie, I believe it came out in the 80s. It was called Batteries Not Included.
Never heard of it.
It's a fun movie. I don't think there's any real name cast, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I watched that movie 3 times in a row in one day. And I think I was fascinated with characters. I was fascinated with stories. So all that to say, being young, my parents didn't really have money for acting lessons and things like that. So I just kind of looked for any opportunity that I had, which was through my schooling, when there was some kind of choir performance or some kind of theater performance, I was always looking to try out for that. To be honest, I feel like maybe I honed some of my skill just through learning and practicing on my own and watching people. But then as I got older, I decided to go to college for theater, and that's what I did. And I love the craft of acting. And I love directing. I love telling stories, and it's just something that's always stayed with me. And now, even to this day. So.
No, absolutely. It's funny. A lot of people say, how can we keep saying absolutely every time someone says something? I guess it's a force of habit.
Yeah.
So I wish I had $1 for every time I said that.
Oh, that's okay. My husband, he says exactly a lot. After someone says something, he'll go exactly. I think it's like one of those like affirming words, like, yeah, like I like what you just said,
No, I agree. Now the next question I want to ask you, because you are a professional, one of the best professional actresses, upcoming actresses. And the question I want to ask you is, who was the very first actress you ever met and who you saw on TV?
So the first actress that I ever met, is that the question?
Yes.
You think I would remember that? It's funny. I know that I've met a lot of actors. Gosh. If I'm being honest, I haven't had the privilege yet of being on set with, I hope I'm not forgetting anything. That would be terrible.
Well, the correct terms, and not to be politically correct, but, guys are actors, women are actresses. So it doesn't make a difference, but it could be anyone. Like for an example, I was never on an acting set, but I love going to Comic-Cons and meet and greets. So I met a whole bunch of wrestlers just past year before, PG-13, before the shit hit the fan was the Corona thing. That's another question I want to talk to you about. Is, I went to New York to Comic-Con. I met, now you're putting me on the spot, on Sean Aspirin, really nice. For people who don't know who he is, he was from Lord of the Rings. He was Sam. I met Billy Boyd, who I think he was Pippin, or he was one of the other hobbits.
Okay.
My sister's obsessed with the sci-fi show. I can't think of the name, but I got to meet Gigi. She's let us know her name. And so I got so many insights and excited to meet these people. I'm like, no, I want to do exactly what they do. And then I meet wrestlers too. Of course, not putting myself, under the spotlight or anything, but
Yeah.
just the fact that you get the time to sit there, talk to them, you feel inspired that say, if they can do it, you can do it too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? To be honest with you, I've worked with some amazing actors, although I don't necessarily know how well known they are. I know that they're phenomenal, and I know some of the films they're in. One of those, would be Leland Clausen. I was with him in Sleeper Agent, and he's a comedian and an actor and a writer. And then Stacey Bradshaw, she was in the movie Unplanned. She was also in Sleeper Agent. She's in a lot of other things. I don't know the titles to right now, but as far as like big, if we're talking A-listers, did I run into some of them and see them in LA? Yeah. I saw Kirstie Alley. I saw Giovanni Ribisi, Sam Rockwell, but did I get to meet them? No. I was more of just, oh, look, there's so-and-so and they're standing right over there. But yeah, to speak on what you're saying, I think just talking to other actors in general, anyone that really like loves the craft and has a passion, and they're very talented. There's always things to glean from those relationships. So I'm very thankful for all of, and I have many acting friends.
No, absolutely. And by no stretch of the imagination am I, like an A-lister or B-lister. For me, I consider myself a D-lister. And the reason I consider myself a D-lister is you always have to work from the bottom and work your way up. But the reason the D is very special for me is because as D stands for disabilities. Now, I'm showing people with disabilities, but labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You should prove to them you can still mount to something no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Now I'm doing what you're doing. Absolutely. I have a friend, a very close friend, and she has cerebral palsy. And she is, in my eyes, one of the most accomplished people that I know. And it's interesting because, we've been friends for so long, and I just see her as so capable all the time. So it's like, sometimes you even forget, when you have these friendships with people, you can even forget that there's even a disability present. But I think that that's great. And I think what you're doing is great.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question I want to ask you is, you also work in fitness. Same as that question for the acting. Who influenced you to become a part of the fitness world?
That's a good question. I do love fitness. I work out probably at least 5 times a week. As far as people that influence me, it's funny when you go on Instagram, right? And you look up certain topics and you see certain people that, personal trainers or whatever. I think there's just a lot of girls out there that work really hard at, just staying in shape, staying healthy. And if I'm being honest, I kind of like go a little bit of everywhere when I see someone that looks very motivated. I can't say it was one particular person because it wasn't. I think for me, the whole even way that I really got into the fitness world was being under tremendous amounts of stress. And there was a time in my life where I was under a lot of stress, but I also had a lot of time on my hands. And I wanted a way to kind of get out that energy that was, inside. And I was like, I'm going to join the gym. And I realized that every time I went and I started lifting or doing, I do cardio just because I feel like it's necessary, but not because I like it. But I realized that I just felt better emotionally. And then obviously too, with working out, you'll see changes in your body. And so that's kind of how it happened. But yeah, I find a lot of just random people that I don't even know their names to. I find them inspiring. I'm like, wow, look at her. And I am one of those people where I feel like, well, if they're able to accomplish that, right? What's keeping me from doing it? So yeah, kind of a little bit of everything influences me.
It's funny we should talk about fitness. For my network, I've been trying to grow my subscribers, and I'm thinking, well, a lot of people say your show's about disabilities. I'm like, well, it's not always about disabilities, and so therefore, not everything on here is going to be disability related. So I came up with other ideas. How to get people interested. So I'm looking for brand ambassadors. If you're interested, I'd love to have you as one of them. I was thinking, I like Dumbo and Jumbo Book. Why not turn that into something? It's like, hey, I'm not just a talk show host, but I do these great things on the side, like for fan-made parodies. I'm thinking, okay, you have your on the right step. You're doing the right direction, talk show. Have people supporting you, fan-made parodies. But the fitness one, I was thinking, well, I'm not in the best shape, and maybe we can do something live. I know I have a fat neck, I'm trying to work on that. But I was thinking, the one thing I always enjoy, and people make fun of me for it, is I like human pyramids. And I was thinking, why not turn that into something? And I was like, well, why not do the, there's like the ice bucket challenge, there's going down the slide backwards challenge, the dance off. So I was thinking, I'm going to be creative because I like this so much. I'm going to do a human pyramid challenge. Now I'm going to see if we can make that trend. Right now, it's not really trending. The good news is I got 2 teams so far, and I know we talked about off the air. Would you be interested in doing something like that?
Oh, sure. I mean, I only got like, the family, we're a family of 4, so we can only get so big. Granted, my goats, they would love to climb on top of me. So that could be cool. I could try that. That would be fun. Because they are, the moment that you like get yourself low to the ground, they want to be on top of you like you're like a little mountain. So yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And you're right. There are all kinds of challenges that I see. And I think a pyramid one, I think it's cool. It would be cool to see like what different things people could use to make, like it could be human, but who knows if their pets got in on it, that would be cool. But also too, if it was like a large family, like how big that could get, I think that sounds fun.
No, I agree. For the most part right now, it's only been like 3 people, but it would be really cool to see like a 10-person, 15-person, whatever records, numbers you want to use. But it's for fun. And also it's kind of like, I like to be trending for something.
Sure. Yeah. No, that does sound fun.
Now, the next question I want to ask you when we come back for a commercial break is social media. Can social media make you or break you when we come back?
I'm Jenny Fine. Hi, it's Mimi Chen.
Hi, my name is Ellen Dorsch.
It's Shauna Toth.
Hey guys, I'm Anastasia Edwards.
Hi, this is Jackie Nunez.
Hi, I'm Millie Rose Fair.
Hey guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrew's show. He's doing a terrific job. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesomeness.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network. The Keith Andrew Network is available on all social medias. you can make sure to like and hit that bell icon on YouTube and become a subscriber on our hit show, Keith Andrew Network, on youtube.com. Also available on Facebook and Instagram and pretty much all social medias. But it isn't about me, it's about my wonderful guests. The next question I want to ask you is, because the show is about disabilities, have you ever worked with people with learning disabilities? And are you willing to work with people with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities? Besides me, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As I had mentioned, I have a friend and she has cerebral palsy, so that's a disability. I think, to be honest, I've always just kind of had a heart for people that maybe had, if you want to call it, like a different type of struggle in life. I know everyone has their own sets of challenges, but I feel like those with disabilities, I guess for some, it's the things that they were born with. And for others, perhaps it came over time. But I feel like at the end of the day, what matters is a person's heart and their drive and their motivation. And we're all just people. We're all humans. I feel like we're all the same. I don't necessarily even see myself that different from someone, that might have a disability, just because I'm very aware of my own weaknesses that I struggle with that maybe aren't obvious, but I know that they're there. And so to answer your question, I would love to work with someone that has a disability or people with disabilities. And I would love, any way that I could to help people with disabilities.
No, that's all it's about. So when you help people, it's about networking, and it's about making that extra step, taking that extra step. And when you take the extra step, how many times can I say extra, right? When you take that extra step, you leave an impression on someone. It's not saying, well, I was paid to be here, or, I was guilt tripped to do this. This is something that you want to do. This is something how you want to be remembered. God forbid one day when your time's up. So making that extra step and saying, I'm doing this because I'm a good person, that speaks absolutely values about anyone out there. But, other people you have to kind of twist an arm with. So it's kind of you're not always going to win with people, if that makes any sense.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, there's everything going on with media and propaganda. How do you feel about social media with everything that you accomplish in your life, from being a professional actress to working in fitness? Do you feel that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, these websites helped you and gave you opportunities? Or do you think people just, as they say in the news, people just completely abuse them?
So I feel like for myself, I feel like it's been helpful. The last film that I was in, Sleeper Agent, I was able to get a lot of information. My friend is the one that tipped me off about the film and the casting, but the way that I was able to connect with the director was through social media. So in that regard, I see it as very helpful. I don't, it's funny. I realized that when you put yourself out there as an artist, or not even as an artist, when you put yourself out there on social media for anyone, you are allowing someone else to speak into your life or at your life, whether you like it or not. And I realized that it's been more and more eye-opening as, I've done different more projects. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to have a good opinion of you. So, I can't say as of right yet, social media has been anything negative for me. However, I do realize that as time goes on, I'm still going to have to have a good balance and be secure in who I am when people want to critique me or they want to act like they know who I am, things like that. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I'll give you an example. For 7.5 years, I never used headsets. I guess my brother got tired of me, broadcasting my conversations. Now he says, go buy yourself a pair of headphones. So, I'm lenient on it. It's as long as it looks fine, but you're trying to please people. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I want to talk about is, there's certain people. I'll give you an example. But there's over 700, and thanks to you, we're up to 777 people. Now, over the years, those people may not do the brightest things in the media, in the outside world. And the reason I bring it up is something came to my interest. Not my interest, something came to light. But I'm going to say this one thing. If I interview you, right? Obviously, we're talking right now. And in 5-6 years, you do something, and God forbid you get arrested or something, that doesn't reflect the talk show. That's just something, happen in your life. I'm not saying it's going to happen, God forbid. I'm just using it for an example. The reason I say that is I interviewed this guy, not to go into details, a couple years ago, and I found out that he was arrested. And I won't say for what, but they're like, oh yeah, I know this guy, independent wrestler, whatever. He got arrested. How can you have someone on your show? Mind you, this is back in 2013, maybe early 14. I never met him. He did the show, and he pretty much fell off the radar. So this one guy made a comment like, oh, I know that person, and you should represent yourself. Personally, when I approach people to be on my show, I'm like, I like the profile picture. It says professional actress, work in fitness, that's it. I don't do like, oh my God, I'm going to look you up on IMDb and do this whole background check. I look for the key points. If, if you're an actress, if you're good looking, and if you have a great personality at the same time. I'm not going to dig into someone's past. So, hypothetically, if those people who I interviewed did something stupid, that's completely on them. That has absolutely nothing to do with the Keith Andrew Network or anything, because I'm not wholly responsible for how people live their lives. Just want to do that little rant for people out there that thinks, one, how people like to partake things and say, well, you associated with this person, so therefore their garbage will slowly move to yours. It doesn't work like that. People are. No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, if you look at any person that does interviewing, on any scale, I mean, gosh, all kinds of people that have gone to jail, been to jail, good people that are kind of seemingly off. I mean, people are interesting and you never know what they're going to do. And I think that's, one job as a host and a person that interviews people. It's, I think it's fun and interesting. I don't think that should be a concern for everyone of who you interview. It's, do they like your content? Do they like what you're talking about?
I agree with you 100%. Hey, you know what? You can't fix stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like with my show. Either you're going to say he's doing something interesting or it's not your cup of tea. But I enjoy it. Most of my fan base enjoys it. It's taking baby steps. But, I didn't mean to just blur the whole thing out. It was something on my mind. But that's
okay.
That's what the Keith Andrew Network's about. Open-handed conversation, uncensored, raw, uncut, Yes, PG-13, but you have the freedom to say anything you want and talk about anything you want. Plus, you make a new friend out of it. I do have a couple of questions for you off the air about wrapping up our interview segment. How can people follow you on social media?
Oh, okay. Well, on Instagram is probably the best bet, which is the Instagram handle is Julie Crisante. So Jule Crisante. That's my Instagram. And then of course they can follow me on Facebook. I don't always accept friend requests from people that I have, literally no connection with whatsoever. But of course you can follow, and then over time, who's to say I won't add you, not you, but whoever. And social media, I'm still kind of still trying to like learn more about that and how to market myself better. Sometimes I just really don't really know if I'm doing it properly, so we'll see.
I think I fall underneath that category. Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing my talk show even right.
Yeah. But it's like, hey, at least you're doing it. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's about passion and determination. That's all you need. But the last question I want to ask you is, I want you to be brutally honest. When I approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first honest reaction? What made you say yes? And how do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people?
When you first approached me, I'm like, who is this guy? Who is he? And then like, does he really interview people? And then I went to your page and I was like, oh, he does. Okay. And yeah, no, I mean, you're legit. You never know what to expect when someone comes and approaches you out of the clear blue sky on social media, right? And I'm a cautious person. I'm cautious. I feel like I'm open, but I'm still cautious. I'm leery. But no, and I mean, you're great. You're very friendly. You're very personable. You ask like interesting questions.
No, absolutely. Now I do have a couple questions for you wrapping up. But wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And for people out there, make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network, and thank you for watching.